I was the last tenant. The man who rented me the flat didn't say that. He didn't need to. The hallway smelled like rotting wood and loneliness, and the building leaned in on itself like a secret being whispered to the ground. Apartment 3. Top floor. No elevator. I moved in with 2 suitcases and a bottle of bourbon. That's all I had left. My mother had passed 3 weeks earlier, slumped forward at her kitchen table, pen still in her hand. I didn't cry when I found her. I haven't cried in years. Not even when Marion left. She said I had too many closed doors inside me. I told her they were locked for a reason. The flat was bare. 1 window, 1 bed, 1 bathroom, and 1 door I couldn't open. It sat opposite the bedroom, warped and gray, flush with the wall but slightly off. No handle, no keyhole, just a surface that felt warm to the touch. I asked the landlord about it once. He went quiet and said, "You'll hear them eventually, don't open it." He died 2 days later. Gas leak, they said, in a building that hadn't had a working gas line in 20 years. I started hearing them on my 3rd night. Quiet at first, scratches, taps, then murmurs. Children's voices, women's voices, sometimes my voice. "Let me out," it would whisper in my exact cadence. "Let me remember." I stopped drinking after that. Instead, I started peeling back the wallpaper. Not just in the hallway, everywhere. The walls were covered in old names, scratched and carved beneath the paper. All of them marked with dates. Most ended in the same year. The year I was born. Then came the messages. Written in chalk under the bed. Scrawled into the inside of my closet door. Whispered from the drain in the bathtub when I let the water sit too long. "You left her. She screamed for you. How long did it take her to die?" I thought it was guilt. Residue from my mother, from Marion, from my father before them. Maybe some people are just shaped wrong from the start. But then I found the tape. It was hidden under a loose floorboard beneath the refrigerator. A cassette labeled only with a date, March 19th, 1993, my 7th birthday. I played it on an old recorder I bought from a pawn shop. It started with silence, then a child's voice. "I don't want to go in." Another voice followed, male, cold, familiar. The quiet ones go in first. Then came the screaming. I threw up in the sink, not because of the sounds, but because I recognized my mother's voice. Screaming for someone, pleading, calling my name. After that, the door began to bleed. Thick, black liquid oozed from the bottom, pooling on the floor and vanishing when I looked away. I stopped sleeping. Every night, the whispers grew louder. The walls pulsed with breath. My reflection in the bathroom mirror began moving. And still, the voice kept asking, "Do you remember now?" I didn't. Not until the dream. I was standing in the hallway, 7 years old. My father behind me, hand on my back, pushing me toward the door. My mother was crying, held back by men in masks. The door opened by itself, wet, breathing, alive, and a hand reached out. It took me. I woke up screaming on the hallway floor, hand pressed against the door. The wood was vibrating from the inside. I remembered everything. What my father did. What he made me do to stay quiet. The others he fed to the door. My mother tried to stop it. That's why he buried her voice. Erased the house, paid the right men. But memories like that don't die. They rot. And they come back changed. I opened the door last night. Inside was a staircase. Walls made of meat, eyes set into every inch, and at the bottom, them. All the quiet ones, children, women, me, over and over again, at every age. Staring, weeping, waiting. They told me the truth. There was never a me who got away. That version, this version, is just another layer in the house. Another room behind a door that shouldn't open. A fragment of something left to rot and repeat. I don't think I'm writing this. I think I'm remembering it. And now you've read it. You've let it in. I've worked at Halden & Carr for 11 years. Middle floors, mid-tier clients, nothing flashy. We handle compliance software for medical labs. Endless spreadsheets, regulations, acronyms. The kind of job that makes you forget you ever wanted anything else. The strangeness began on a Thursday morning. I got in early, around 7:20. The office was still dim. That strange gray light before the fluorescents kick on. I passed the reception desk, turned the corner, and noticed something odd. Conference room B's door was closed. That wouldn't be unusual, except conference room B had been gutted for renovations 2 months ago. Drywall stripped, table removed, wires hanging like wet nerves from the ceiling. No one should be using it. Yet here it was. Door shut. Soft, yellow light, glowing beneath it. I hesitated. Thought maybe maintenance was doing early work. Then I heard voices. Not muffled, clear. They were having a meeting. I couldn't hear words exactly, just the cadence of office talk. A woman's voice, firm and low. A man's voice, measured, neutral. A third voice that sounded exactly like mine. I backed away. I didn't open the door. I didn't feel like I should. Later that day, I asked Debbie from facilities if the room was back in use. She gave me a puzzled look and said, "That space is sealed off. They haven't even started electrical." When I told her I'd heard people inside, she laughed. "Maybe you were dreaming." Except, I hadn't told her it was my voice. The next day, the door was open again. Room empty. Dust on the floor. The lights were off, wires still dangling. But when I stepped inside, I swear the air felt warmer, like someone had just left. I started avoiding that hallway, but the room didn't stop. On Monday, I came out of the restroom and saw the door cracked again. This time, I heard my name, clear as anything. Daniel. A woman's voice. Familiar, but wrong, like it came from inside my head and out of the wall at the same time. I turned and stared at the door. "Daniel," it repeated. "We're still waiting." I quit early and walked home. That night, I went through old voicemails on my phone. Most of them were junk, meeting reminders, my sister checking in, credit card spam. But there was one I didn't remember saving. No caller ID. Timestamp for that morning at 7:24 a.m. Just static. And beneath it, my own voice whispering, "Don't go in. Not again." I started drinking again. Just a little at first. 1 glass to sleep, then 3. Then the bottle followed me to work in my bag. People noticed. My boss gave me a week off. "Burnout," he said. "Take care of yourself." So I did something stupid. I went in early. Earlier than ever. 6:15 a.m. No one in the building. I walked straight to conference room B. Door closed. Light on. Voices. I opened the door. I saw myself, sitting at the table across from me. Not a twin, not a hallucination. Me. Same suit. Same scar above the eyebrow from when I was 12. But he looked calmer, confident. There were 3 others in the room, 2 women, 1 man, all looking at me, smiling politely, like I'd interrupted a presentation. The other me said, "Glad you could make it this time." I just ran. I just remember vomiting into the hedge outside the lobby, shaking, shoes soaked in spilled coffee I don't remember carrying. That was 5 days ago. Since then, things have gotten worse. People at work avoid me now. I see them glance at me, whisper, then quickly look away. My keycard sometimes doesn't work, and when it does, I swear the halls have changed. My office feels an inch smaller every day, and today, Debbie from facilities passed me in the hall and said, "I thought you weren't coming in today." I said, "What?" She blinked. "You just left conference room B like 10 minutes ago." I hadn't even been near that floor. I checked the room. Door open, empty. But on the whiteboard inside was written in perfect block letters, "No more excuses. Decide." I don't know what I'm supposed to decide. I don't know which version of me they want. I don't know if I was ever the original. I found a photo on my desk today. Everyone from the meeting was in it. Smiling, confident. I was in it too, already seated at the table, looking straight at the camera, wearing their eyes. And in the corner, written in ink that was still wet, "Welcome back." And this time, I think I finally smiled back. I thought the walkie-talkie was a joke when I first found it in the back room. It was old, bulky, the kind you see in movies from the 80s, no batteries included. But the radio crackled to life when I switched it on. I work as a night security guard at the old museum. No exhibits open, just me in the shadows. The first few nights were quiet, just the usual hum of the air conditioner and my own breathing. Then the voice started. At first, it was just static and faint whispers. Then, one night, "Hello?" I nearly dropped the device. I responded, "Hello? Who's there?" No reply, only the crackling. But the next night, it came back, clearer. "Do you see it?" I scanned the dark corridors. Nothing, just mannequins frozen in time, paintings with eyes that seemed to watch me. I laughed to myself. Must be a prank from the day staff. But the voice got bolder. "They're watching. You're next." I told myself it was interference from the nearby radio tower, or my mind playing tricks. I followed the faint static noise, leading me through hallways I didn't know existed or had forgotten. A narrow door, heavy and old, appeared where there shouldn't have been one. I pushed it open and stepped inside. The room was small, windowless, and empty, except for an old wooden box sitting on the floor. It looked like it hadn't been touched in decades. The air was thick, full of dust, and something else I couldn't name. A coldness that settled deep in my bones. I bent down and opened the box. Inside were dozens of worn tapes, audio cassettes. I pulled one out and saw a faded label with my name written in shaky handwriting. The walkie-talkie crackled violently in my hand. "Listen closely." I pressed play on the cassette player I found in the box. A voice whispered through the tape, eerily familiar. "You were supposed to stop it. You failed again." The static on the walkie-talkie grew louder, then went silent. I dropped the box and fled the room. Now, every night, the walkie-talkie crackles to life with voices. My own, distorted and broken, reminding me of a failure I can't remember, a warning I can't ignore. And I'm starting to wonder, is it a message from the past or a promise from something waiting in the dark?